this board of directors won't be there for very long.
Right.
There's a very good chance that Ronald Koeman won't be there for very long. Why would they ruin their mid-term future based on a short-term need of the club to generate money? And then there's another kind of almost a moral element to this, which is why would the players feel that they should have the responsibility for facilitating the arrival of other footballers at a time when they've already taken pay cuts because of the COVID crisis, and at a time when they're thinking, well, actually, if I hang on, who knows, once that window's closed, perhaps I will end up playing.
Obviously, from a US perspective, a lot of interest in Sergiño Dest. He would come on in the second half of that game at the weekend. Overall assessment of his performance?
I mean, to be honest with you, I almost can't give you an answer to that question because, of course, he came on at left back instead of right back. He didn't have a huge amount of time on the pitch. I think there's a certain degree of excitement with him because he's young, because he's quick, because he spoke very well, incidentally, about Dani Alves and how closely he watched him and how he wanted to be that kind of player, because everybody knows that Ronald Koeman has a huge amount of faith in him. And actually, although it's still early, most people in Barcelona have quite a lot of faith in Koeman as well. Of course, he was the one signing that was able to happen because Semedo left. So I think there's goodwill towards him. I think there's a sense that he could be a good player. But of course, as happens with everything at Barcelona right now, there is also kind of a sense of, okay, look, let's hang on and let's see what happens. And as I say, at the weekend, out of position, on the pitch for only, what was it, I think 15 or 20 minutes, then I think it's too early to make any real kind of judgment on him.
One player we certainly can make a judgment on, and certainly his coach has, is Antoine Griezmann, who seems to be right back to square one. What I thought was interesting or unnecessary, depending on how you want to describe it, was Koeman coming out and saying, yeah, he should have taken one of those chances. What good does that do in life?
That's a very good question. I mean, look, I take you back almost as if it was a courtroom. I refer you to my previous answer in which I said that this is partly personality with Koeman.
Yeah, but surely,
he's
blunt, I understand
direct.
it's his personality, but you're a coach, you're a man manager. This is your job, isn't it?
Yes.
Going out in the media and saying that a player who surely knew that, you know he's got to take those chances, saying that publicly doesn't help him one bit.
No, absolutely, and that was precisely how I felt as well, and obviously I think a lot of people would say, well, it's about time these players were told.
Yeah.
It's about time these players who've lived far too comfortably and far too much of an easy life for too long had a manager who was actually a leader who imposed upon them. Now, on one level, by the way, I can buy that argument. I really can. On one level, I can say, yeah, you know what? Maybe it is time you had someone said, look, I'm in charge here. I say what I think, and tough luck. That said, there's a big difference between us kind of intuitively thinking that maybe there was time for this and how a professional player responds to it. Some players respond very well. Some players certainly don't. And the other thing is that you have to be seen as a manager. And I'm sure all the boys in the studio will tell you this time and time again. I'm sure Stevie Nicol will tell you this time and time again. You have to be seen to be being fair, to being equally, the way you treat people has to be equal. Okay, so how easy do you think it would be for Ronald Koeman to say that to Leo Messi?
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.